All right, EA Ermor turned 66. Let's see if we walk into an earthquake trap. I feel like we've reached the part of the game where augur communions are very vulnerable, and I probably should be transitioning out of them. Yeah, here's some arrows. Yeah, this is probably, yeah, our army is getting hammered. This makes sense. It's okay. You know, ooh, augur elder, that's a little sad. Although maybe that's the guy who's been twice mourned. Let's see, do we have any others? Yeah, quite a few arrows. So he's got, 4 arrows. It looks like our Lar gets hit twice. Oh no, we have different Lars get hit. So that's unfortunate. Maybe give the Twist Fate amulets to those guys. Of course, we have Flaming Death up on our capital now, right? So, if he tries this arrow stuff on top of our capital, then hopefully his caster will die and his lab will burn down. And then let's see if our Mind Hunts were successful. No, managed to resist, although we didn't get Feeble-Minded, so that's nice. And then we got Feeble-Minded here. So the Mind Hunts didn't work out. We knew that was a bit of a long shot, but always sad. A Dire Portent, always good news. Let's see. This is not good. Okay, wait, no, this isn't too bad. This is Riches from Beneath, which gives you a modest increase to your income, and I believe it also increases your resources. So not the end of the world, not great. Niflheim obviously already in a good position. We're, summoning a bunch of stuff to support our army that's currently, getting hammered by the arrows, but we'll send it out shortly. Looks like we have a magic phase attack somewhere. Okay, so we're getting dropped on. These are our lizards, I think. Yeah, now we do have a gem here, and I was moving another lizard in to support. Yeah, so this looks like it's going to be air elemental rating. Ooh, nice. And this guy's got kit. Doomglaive, you don't see that every day. Okay, a lot of air elemental rating. So this is going to be a problem. Ethereal will definitely help, right? But we don't really have any magic weapons. Hopefully we're going to make some bugs here. But, there's the bugs. So that'll help a lot, right? Because it's going to give him, other targets to try to trample. It's going to give us a chance, to kill this guy. But there's going to be more air elementals. Yeah, like here's another one. And then, of course, these guys are going to be really tough to take out. So, yeah, this is here's some retreats. So this is fairly high commitment from Russ, and this guy doesn't have any Astral, and his magic resistance is 18, which is solid. Oh, wait, hold on. This lady probably has Astral, though, doesn't she? Yep, she does. Very nice. So, covering his rating groups with Astral, there's a pretty good chance with an Astral 2 that our Mind Hunt gets halted, before it can ever start. So yeah, we'll maybe have to rethink some of these mage groups. Clearly the lizards did decently well. They're okay raiders, but they're really going to struggle with air elementals. So we do have to now for our raiding groups. We really need to think about we need something that's going to be able to stand up to air elementals being dropped on them. So that's unfortunate. That's going to be a bit painful. Yeah, we lose 2 lizards. And it looks like everybody else retreated successfully. So at least 1 lizard shaman survives, although I think I'm sending another lizard shaman in to reinforce there, which is a bit unfortunate. We do actually find a magic site. That's nice. So I think that's a nature gem. And then, yeah, here's our assassination attempts. Let's see here. So we have 2 of them. This is our assassin with the black bow. So this is our heavily kitted guy that we were thinking, hey, maybe we'll get the pretender. But it looks like not, although this guy's carrying a lot of gear, right? This is, he's been boosted twice in Astral. So this is a ton of Astral Pearls. Just a lot of gems in general. He does have some air gems on him, and he's got a bodyguard, one of the sacreds. Possible that he gets blessed. So this is going to be very dangerous. This guy can also air shield. And yeah, here comes the air elemental. And we miss with our arrows. Not good. Yeah, the air elemental is out, so we pretty much lose. Now it's just a question of... Yeah, we miss again. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so I think we're going to die here without doing anything, which is sad. And that, highlights the issues with, using these bows for assassinations. So that doesn't work out. That's probably what I logged into Discord, saw that Russ had messaged us, and was concerned that maybe we walked into an earthquake trap, which still possible. Right, so okay, interesting. There's going to be some Skelly spam we're going to have to deal with. This is on top of Russ's throne, and we were thinking we were going to get that Bone Reader, but it looks like he moved another commander in, or had another commander. She's stealthy. Okay, very nice. So yeah, it wasn't really possible for us to see that. She also has some bodyguards. Like, yeah, he's doing a good job. And of course, like, yeah, we're really not going to like the corpse constructs because they're going to shock us. And unfortunately, like, our ice elemental isn't going to be quite as good. Yeah, against the horde of skeletons. I think a water elemental would have served us a little bit better. So this is quite a bit of gems that we're losing and gear that we're donating. So that's unfortunate, but that's the nature of assassinations. They don't always work out, and I think, Russ has been doing a decent job of defending them. Right, this is our single augur, who is now very unlikely, because we were hoping to knock out, wow, this guy has a ton of gems. Not sure what the thought was there. Arrow fend, very nice. Not that, I guess, yeah, we slingers, that makes sense. It's kind of odd that, I don't know, maybe he's expecting some slinger rating, like, yeah, missed. Okay, so he's really worried about, arrows, but we're not doing any arrows here or any kind of projectiles, so a bit odd. But yeah, of course, our lone guy, he was only ever going to succeed if there wasn't anything patrolling, all right, and the undead were unled, which is, not what happened, but, he's the guy who was twice born, so he will come back as a white mage, so that's fine, like, we don't mind that. And then we're getting attacked somewhere else. Okay, nice. He's pushing forward. Yeah, he's got his own water bottle, or actually, this is that's the water. That was our water bottle until very recently. So he's attacking forward. This is like near our capital, probably our cap circle. We're not really defending here. Oh yeah, probably should have re-scripted this guy. We were just trying to bring this guy back home. Let's see if he actually manages to pull anything off. Yeah, I think he used his gem for Phoenix power, which, like, yeah, sure, I guess. I think that's in his script, so yeah, and of course here comes fire elementals at us, which, fair enough. So he donates some more gear there. That's not good. So yeah, we don't get any kills. That's okay. So we are getting rolled back a little bit in the rating here, but we're hoping to switch this pretty soon. I mean, we still definitely want to do rating, but we need to force some major battles, right? Get some wins. Speaking of forcing major battles, let's see if we get earthquaked. Okay, no trap. So, I was able to figure that out. I know I talked about mass flight, but we can't get it on turn 1. That's, the fundamental problem with communions. And so, if we mass flight on turn 2, like, he'll have already cast earthquake. We'll already be screwed. So we have mass protection set as like turn 1, but like, yeah, you can see like we kill a few of our own guys. This is even without mass protection, right? Mass protection is going to give us like fire weakness. So, like it's not a great defense. It's also not going to completely protect our augurs from earthquake, but it will help. And like, yeah, we move forward. We lose a few long dead horsemen, a few Ostati. Like, that's okay. Not ideal since there was no resistance. Really, a little bit of PD, but yeah. And then Niflheim moving forward. Yeah, he's got what, like two scrawny thugs, 3 scrawny thugs, the queen of one of the queen's heir. Oh boy, some jarls that have been kitted. These look like, yeah, gate cleavers, right, to help him break down like fort walls, because otherwise, like, a force like this isn't gonna have a lot of siege strength. A golem with a wraith sword and like quickness, like this, yeah, this is pretty nasty. He can teleport around because he's been given a booster, and then a bunch of great eagles, 4 siege strength to help break down the walls. Sauromatia not contesting that, so we'll see if Sauromatia has anything to answer that, but it's gonna be tough to answer. And then, yeah, speaking of lacking answers, we're getting attacked again. Ooh, this is a less good turn for us. Let's see. Okay, this is just one of his thugs, one of his cap-only commanders, who does have a little bit of astral. We're going to start mind hunting these guys, I think, or not mind hunting. We've been trying to mind hunt, but we're going to magic duel them now. If our augurs are just going to get shot down, anything that's close to us. And this, where is this? Oh yeah, this is the lizard province that we couldn't really use because there's an inkpot end here. So, hey, hopefully he gets diseased. But yeah, I don't think the lizards are going to be able to take this guy out. Lizards are kind of dangerous. He's going to fly to the back, kill the commander. Classic. So yeah, we'll see. We'll have to think about that guy. But he is fairly vulnerable to Magic Duel, which I've mentioned but have not explained because I haven't bothered doing it. Yeah, right. And then this is our lizard like reinforcing. Yeah, in our other raid group. This is probably not going to go well. Yeah, he still has enough for air elementals. Very nice. So, he gave him quite a bit of gems. We're at least going to burn some more gems here. But, yeah, let's see. Where are we going? Do we have anybody in the back? Not really sure why our guys ran back there, but it doesn't really matter. They get knocked out by air elementals, so that's kind of sad. That's our other little raiding group. Still, like, relatively cheap, you know. I mean, losing the lizard shamans kind of hurts, but all the rest of this is kind of like, you know, whatever. Like, none of this is that important. Not really sure what the retreat details are. I guess somehow, oh yeah, that's from the other battle. Say, like, everybody gets eliminated here, so who could have possibly retreated? And then, of course, Burden of Time. Let's see, some unexpected events. Hey, some gold and the Scepter of Authority. Very nice. A group of zealots joined our army. I think we get a bunch of flagellants, so that's cool, I guess. Siege strength. Barbarian chiefs have joined. So we have a barbarian clan, so we can recruit some barbarians here. We probably won't do that. But, you know, it could be worse. At least the barbarians aren't attacking us. We one-turn crack this empty fort with, you know, our huge commitment army, so that's at least something. Cure some afflictions, and then, you know, our air death guy. Ooh, nice. It increased his knowledge of death magic. That's lucky. So that worked out for us. And I will catch you guys after the jump. All right, so this is the situation and what we're doing about it. This is another tough turn. I guess let's start with, so I agreed to a non-aggression pact with Vanheim, so for three turns, or, you know, 3 turns before we can attack, nap 3. So we have betrayed the memory of Abyssia, sadly. As I suspected, you know, the death scales, you can see this is the capital. Population's down to 14,000. That's pretty rough. Like, fighting over this land, especially with Burden of Time up, there's not going to be a whole lot of value to it. So it doesn't really make sense from a game state standpoint. But it was also in preparation for attacking Niflheim, right? So the Rust player had contacted me and had offered peace, and sort of, you know, to prepare for that, I figured, okay, you know, basically just saying like, hey, look, like, Niflheim completely destroyed Sarmatia, which, you know, I guess they weren't expecting. That's not a great surprise to me. But anyway, they're like, okay, like, you know, we should, like, stop fighting before it gets bloody, and let's go in on Niflheim. So I was like, okay, thinking to myself, like, there's no way I can go in on Niflheim if I'm going to get elfed from the back. So, you know, let me set that up, you know, before I respond to Russ. So that went fine. Like, the Vanheim player, you know, probably they have other things they want to deal with anyway. So, you know, then I talked with Russ, and Russ had offered basically just kind of what I'd offered a few turns ago, right? Just a return to original borders, essentially. So they're going to cede, like, these 2 provinces, and, you know, I would cede, like, I think these 2 provinces, and then I would also give them this fort, or, you know, get off of this fort, their fort, which, I don't know, this is looking more like my fort to me. And, like, this was the sticking point. So we didn't actually come to an agreement. I just feel like, you know, for the amount of effort that we've put in to just go back to original borders, especially after, like, I already made the offer, and, you know, I mean, this province isn't great, but, you know, it is 3 gems, right? And really the main thing is, like, they have the Throne of Bureaucracy here. They're going to start pushing their Cold Dominion in. Like, we're already going to have problems because of Illwinter, and, like, we're just going to leave them with a fort, like, with a temple, like, right on the border, like, right next to Agartha. It doesn't really feel like that secure. So I didn't think it was too much to ask, you know, for this fort. They'd already complained earlier when I'd suggested, you know, I made the first offer. They're like, oh, you're going to get Agartha, and we're just going to get, you know, basically, like, garbage. It's like, well, this is the garbage we were talking about. So I didn't think it would be a big deal for them to give it up, but, you know, they refused. And they'd also pointed out that they had accepted my offer, but I had chosen to attack them anyway, which was definitely news to me, and just, you know, highlights how easy it is to have miscommunications with people. And so I'm sure, you know, they're pretty annoyed with me as well, no doubt, and probably thinking that, you know, I'm not that trustworthy of a player. So, you know, I think it was just a situation where had there hadn't been those miscommunications, we probably could have come to terms. Like, this province is absolutely, like, not worth fighting a war over, I think, you know, for either of us. But I think we both feel that, like, we're in a decent position and that we could win the war. And, like, for myself, like, I just think attacking in Niflheim is going to be a nightmare. And I don't really relish it. And, you know, I do think that, like, by digging in on this and fighting Russ, like, we are kind of handing the game over, like, either to Niflheim or to Therados. But, you know, I think it's like if Russ and I both simultaneously attack Niflheim, and, you know, if we got in touch with Xibalba, right, and all 3 of us attack Niflheim simultaneously, I think we probably maybe. I really honestly have no idea, but I think we have a good chance at that point, of defeating Niflheim. But then I think that kind of just gives the game, to Therados, right, in a lot of ways. And, I was talking with the Vanheim player just a little bit about the game state, and they feel that, like, Therados is probably going to win this anyway. I'm not as sure. Like, I think Niflheim is a strong contender. But, considering that Therados probably has, like, most, if not all of the ocean, well, not quite all, because we know Niflheim has some of it, but I don't think there are any other, like, underwater, like, there's a AI Pelagia, right? So Therados basically has, like, a safe base to operate from, quite a bit of gem income. Obviously, they don't care so much about Burden of Time, and, they have Well of Misery up, so, they're a pop kill nation that kind of has a lot of the spells that they need up with a lot of territory, right? And they're underwater as well. So I do think it is going to be very difficult to dig them out. And I think regardless, of whether peace or war with Russ, like I don't think I'm realistically winning this. I also think that, like, possibly I come off worse in a joint war against Niflheim. Obviously, like, Niflheim proper is very close to our border, and there's a throne right here that Niflheim would be interested in. That said, like, a lot of Niflheim's armies are obviously, like, focused on Sauromatia, and this is a throne that Russ has. So hard to say, Russ, like, I think, we both suffer, but regardless of the reasons, we were not able to come to an agreement, and I think this is going to be a more fun war anyway, one that, we actually have a chance of winning, versus, like I said, I don't think we have as much chance against Niflheim. So to that end, we are, we left our devils behind. The guy who was leading them died. So I actually think there's a good chance that these devils get magic phased on top of, right? Because they're going to have no undead leadership. So he's probably going to, try to cloud trapeze and get rid of them. So to that end, we're going to teleport out some undead leadership. So hopefully our devils will ambush, whoever is planning on coming in here to get rid of them. And, if not, then we'll pick them up and add them to this monstrosity. So, yeah. This is just begging for, like, remote kill spells or, like, wipes or, this, that, or the other. So we'll see. Like, we're definitely going to get hammered by arrows. I am hoping, right, that this turn, right, we're underneath the Dome of Flaming Death. And so that's going to deal quite a bit of fire damage back to anybody who's casting on it. I don't think it's a guarantee. Actually, no, it does look like they're guaranteed to take that much damage. So, that's quite a bit of fire damage potentially. His casters are fairly tanky. So it could go either way. But we're hoping to, kill some of his arrow casters. So we're gonna be eating arrows. We're gonna eat, like, at least like 3 turns of arrows here. So we're bringing extra augers, definitely, and that's part of why, like, this is so absolutely massive. But to run through the plan real quick, we have these guys who are just kind of throwaway. These guys are going to attack rear. He is set up for attack rear, but we're going to focus on attacking just one side. So the trolls are also on attack rear. These Equitae are also on attack rear. These guys are actually on attack flyers, so they're on air elemental duty. So hopefully they'll clean up any air elementals that, he sends our way. We've got a nice protective box of communion slaves around, like, a bunch of our big casters. We have this guy out here by himself because we don't really have any appropriate bodyguards for him. He's going to be doing Wailing Winds and Light of the Northern Star. We're also going to be throwing up Frostfend with this Lar, because I'm expecting Grip of Winter, which is a fatigue play that's going to work pretty well for him, but this should cancel that out. And then we're also going to do Serpent's Blessing, just in case. Somewhere in here is Flaming Arrows for our slingers and, just all of our javelin fire. We have Troll King here, who's going to do Ground Army to help protect us against shock from the corpse constructs and air elementals and all of his lightning spells. He's also hopefully going to do, a few casts of Weapons of Sharpness, which will hopefully land on the gladiators. We'll see. But, whoever it lands on, like, that's more or less fine. To help cut through any protection buffing that he's doing. Also in that vein, this fellow is going to be casting Strength of Giants. These guys back here are just to catch wolves, probably. They're on attack closest. The gladiators are on attack rear, so they're hopefully, going to get back and make contact with his sacreds, and if they cut their way through, take out his mages. We have some priests here for Sermon of Courage, and then also they're going to advance and banish once our Troll King finishes. With his set of buffs, we've given him a penetration item, and set him to advance and cast spells, so hopefully he's going to be doing some petrify, which I believe will get around the damage reversal issue that we have with Russ's Sacreds. We'll see. And then these guys down here, for the most part, are just going to be making as many fire elementals as possible. We're hoping for like about 15. We still have Will of the Fates in here. We have our own Howl, to try to counteract his Howl, and like a little bit of Chaff to mix things up on his side will be nice. Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Anyway, there's a good chance that this army gets cheesed. Fighting it directly for him will be very expensive, but gem baits and gem burns, we're going to be extremely susceptible to that. And then, of course, the gladiators disappearing, we're going to be susceptible to. So it'll be interesting to see if I can actually bring this army to bear and get it to connect with his army. The good news is that we don't have that many provinces to move, right? Before, we're sitting on top of his forts. And, we do have like some anti-cheese elements. These long dead horsemen, especially just set to immediately attack rear, will make it fairly difficult, for like any kind of wipes, if he just sends out a few casters. There's a good chance between these guys or possibly the fire snakes that, we'll be able to take them out. Gem burn will be a little bit harder to avoid. So we'll see. We are sending along plenty of gems, with, we got some scouts here, but we won't be able to be burned like too many times before we start running into problems. So we'll see. We're also not really doing any more counter raiding over here, which is a bit of a, I don't know. We'll see. Just trying to gather up as much strength as possible into this force and connect. Because like I said, I think Russ is in a lot of ways kind of brittle. I mean, this makes us a little bit brittle as well because, our capitals are so close. We don't actually really have, that much cushion to recruit things back up. But, we're still less brittle than Russ. Like I think they're really capital dependent. If they lose this army, that's kind of it, at least here in the south. Now, we don't really have a whole lot else either. But, we can still pull, like we have quite a few augurs in this fort. Like, they can make the trek. We have some lizard shaman. We are pulling some of them out into a raiding force here, not dissimilar to what we've seen with a few extra elements. So maybe just going to catch these guys trying to raid forward. If not, then we're going to try to raid into here. We are casting Call the Winds with our Pretender, possibly a waste of gems and time, but there's not a whole lot of PD here, so I think we can lock this fort down with that cast. And then, of course, in the south here, as threatened, we're just going to try to walk around. And so, we're launching this army. We are leaving behind some of our infantry. Let's see. I think we can do... Yeah, right. So we've got these guys, just on a mounted commander, an indie commander, like 30 of our legionaries. This fort is empty. I'm not expecting him to magic phase anything into it. So, it's an empty fort. I think 30 legionaries can take an empty fort. We'll see. There is also, of course, a possibility that he moves his army back, to try to engage our force now and completely wipes out those 30 legionaries, which would be sad, but not the end of the world. So I don't know. I think it's worth it. I would prefer to leave, a fort in our rear. We'll see what he chooses to do. If he doesn't attack, right? Does he then attack now that we've started to move this way? Or, does he fall back to cover Helheim? I have a feeling he's probably just going to attack, considering how aggressive he was in the negotiations, right? He wasn't really willing to make any concessions from his starting point. So seems like he's fairly confident. And we have longer to go, right? We'll be here, and assuming he doesn't move in immediately. So we'll have 3 provinces before, we jump on top of a capital, right? Whereas he will only have 2, or, if he moves out this turn, you'll just have one turn. So he'll be able to jump on top of Agartha and crack it and take it, more quickly than, we'll be able to take Helheim. So, we'll have to decide, do we want to turn around and take a fight in the cave against this army with our southern army? I have pretty high hopes. Like I said, the main wild card is Earthquake. I really want to try to get out of these caves to make Earthquake, less devastating. I'm not worried about Earthquake in the north because Russ doesn't really get, a lot of Earth, so I think it's mostly going to be coming out of their Pretender. And whereas, I don't really think he can get anything into Helheim, realistically, that's going to slow us at all. I do actually think we can slow him in Agartha. I don't think we can realistically hold Agartha, right? This is what we're moving there this turn. Not a whole lot, but we are doing a bit of recruitment, some for patrolling, and then some gladiators. and then like we'll have at least one turn to like just slam a bunch of gladiators, and we can definitely move in at least a few other mages, maybe like teleport in a few mages. We may actually gateway all this stuff from TNN into Agartha. So I think we're going to be able to put up a credible defense, one that is going to be painful for him to try to take the fort. And so, we'll see, right? Like, I think that's going to be a win, right? If we just whittle this force down, because this is not really going to be getting any reinforcements, right? Unless he's like gatewaying stuff up. And, as long as we keep him busy, like over here, where his reinforcements are getting created. Now, I don't know what he has on this throne, so I'm expecting there's probably at least one large, Rusian force that we don't know about. We know about the other force on this throne, but not really too worried about that. Like I said, that's mostly chaff and research wizards. It's still going to be dangerous, absolutely, but, our main army can absolutely handle that. It's really his sacreds and his thugs in a raiding capacity, I think, that are going to be hardest for us. And then, of course, he also has to worry about, right, where does Niflheim go once they finish Sauromatia? There's a throne right here, right? So if he evacuates with this force, he's pretty much, inviting Niflheim in. Now, our border with Niflheim is also not very well defended, especially, as we pull more and more stuff out of here. But we have a non-aggression pact with Niflheim, and I'm very much doubting that Russ does, because until very recently, it wasn't really relevant. And the Niflheim player also, I think, generally avoids non-aggression pacts when they can, because they like eating people. So I think it's like Niflheim has the choice of having to wait 3 turns and attack me, or immediately attacking Russ. I think at minimum, this throne force is going to be held in place by the threat of Niflheim attacking. So yeah, otherwise, we got these barbarians, we're going to throw them in as raiders, sure, why not? Here's the flagellants, we're sending a commander up to collect them. They actually didn't come with a commander, which is a little sad. We have our assassin in position. He's going to try to assassinate. I think recruitment happens before assassination attempts, so if he is recruiting here, hopefully we will assassinate the Thunder Priest that pops out. And then we're going to, sneak into this province. We may try to raid into these provinces next turn with something. But right now, we're going to kind of hold off somewhat on the raiding to really focus on, trying to force a couple major engagements and, then kind of crack this thing a lot more wide open, where we're hopefully going to have more success raiding afterwards. Although, of course, he's still going to have the option for cloud trapezing, on top of our raiding groups. And that's going to continue to be a problem. So yeah, I think that more or less covers it. I saw a discussion, where a new player was kind of asking about the late game, and someone described the experience as a question of how much existential dread you can tolerate, and I think is a great way to put it. There's definitely a lot of dread here. I think there's a fair chance that this all goes horribly wrong, but at the same time, I think we have a decent chance at beating Russ. And their attitude has been less than respectful. They said that they gave me Agartha, which again, I don't really recall being given anything. So let's see if they will give me Russ, or they're going to teach me a bunch of lessons about dominions, which is kind of why I'm here. So that covers turn 66.